Yo, what is going on, everybody in the World Wide Web? We are back with another episode of Boss Battle. Now, this one is actually very, very special to me because the world has come full circle for me. I'm going to jump right into it. I'm Crypto Hotto. I want to introduce Shaolin first because we had Shaolin chatting spaces. Was the Lazy Ape spaces and like Pyro spaces and stuff like way back in the day. What's going on, bro?
I just want to make sure I'm not muted this time. No, man, things are great. Like I said, it's full circle, 100%. Like I said, I've actually been watching you and you know, on your timeline, as well as just seeing you grow and blow up. Obviously, you found your path with gaming, which makes perfect sense, right? This is how we do. But yeah, no, we have a very old school history where I actually literally saw your account under 100 followers, just, you know, finding your way in Web3, just investing, getting rugged. Building community. So no, I'm glad to be here and part of the conversation, my friend.
Yeah, so many late night spaces, getting to know people and like just having like those conversations, like understanding like just understanding like crypto in general, because I was just I was just curious and learning, and like I was just stuck in XRP and I was like, what else is out there? You know, like I want to keep expanding my mind and stuff. So man, that's crazy. But what's going on, Ramen? Sorry, I didn't want to jump the gun there too much, but I had to jump into that. I haven't seen Shaolin in forever.
No, you know, you got to go down the path, the history. We all have some familiar things and some old stuff. So I'm really glad to be here. Episode 67. I'm glad we remembered this time. Shout out Hotto for asking. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna. We're two away. We're two away.
Yeah. Oh, we're two away from the big 6-9. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you're in gaming.
We also have Grim. Is it Gremlin X in the building? Gremlin X.
Just call me Grimlinks. But yeah. I was thinking that as you guys were about to say, I was like, we're so close to 69.
We should have waited 2 more shows.
Yeah. That's the big number right there. We also have Matt. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, all good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. And it's the typical millennial/boomer thing of always asking, can you hear me? Can you see me? Is this goddamn thing on? Because we grew up with tech that, you know, just wasn't reliably working. So yeah, you can identify me by generally my millennial penchant to turn the camera on and have a slight pause. But then again, I also don't age like milk. So happy days to everyone. Just to show people I am real. It's just dark in my apartment. So that's what happens when the light goes.
Absolutely. I mean, I got roasted the other day and they said you were alive when people used VCRs, and I was like, damn, that's kind of a roast now. You're kind of right. Like no one uses that anymore.
Hey,
so
chill.
I mean, bro, I used VCRs. Like seriously, half the space is younger than a fucking PlayStation 2, and that ain't a good thing.
Oh, don't say that, man. That's so true. That's so true, though. Damn.
Wow.
Facts.
Wow. Wait, well, I gotta ask really quick. What's everybody's first system right now? Let's without telling your age, right? That you could tell your age. What's everybody's very first system? Hotto.
Nintendo 64.
Ooh, Matt.
Mega Drive, or as you guys call it, Sega Genesis.
Ooh.
Okay. Shaolin.
Oh God, Atari.
Yeah.
Okay, which version of Atari?
I think that, you know, that's fair. I don't remember the model, but at the top of my head,
Probably a 2600.
Probably 20. Yeah, I think 2600. Just Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Pong.
Okay, Grim.
I'm definitely not counting my parents stopping.
I'm around the Commodore 64, Game Boy, or NES, around those 3, I think. But I did play it with Atari as soon as it came out. I think one of my cousins got it, and I was like, it's cool. I want one.
No. There's no way you said that, because during that era, sorry, how do we get into this really quick? I'm just
no, go ahead.
Position in this space. Mine wasn't in television, so just before the 2600.
The hell is
everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're good, fam. You're good. I'm just a box of noodles. This is hiding, my aesthetic appearance. Oh man, well there used to be this. It wasn't even a controller. There's like a game pad that had a little disc for movement, and you would slip in these little slips that would go over a 9-key overlay, and it had some buttons on the side. Yeah, man, it's wild tech back then. But every gaming event that happened during that period was phenomenal, right? Like 8-bit to 16-bit.
100%.
Oh my God! Right, Mega Drive, Genesis, freaking Sega 32X, Sega CD.
Mm-hmm.
I blew my pants off when I saw a Panasonic 3DO. Like every event that happened.
Oh my God, it's like a.
Does anyone remember the
amount
Jaguar?
of
That
coins I
short-lived
dropped on
72-bit
Space
console.
Invader.
Right? What about Neo? I always wanted a Neo Geo. If you had, $900
Neo Geo, I know
you
that.
could have had an arcade at your home.
Neo Geo was notorious for fighting games.
Virtual Boy. I played
Virtual
tennis.
Boy.
I played Mario Tennis. Let's go. I hit them all.
That shit was crazy.
Mario Tennis on the 64 went hard. Just gotta say that.
Yeah, that was also good. Monkey Ball. That was a classic.
Monkey Ball, great classic. We have people in the chat here. Clouds mentions, make sure to watch on Twitch so you guys can vote during the polls. By the way, he did say he's going to give away a pre-order for Battlefield 6 if we get 20 votes on the poll. Battlefield 6, guys.
No way. What?
My favorite game. I made a movie. I didn't make a montage. I made a movie about it. How much I love that game.
Can I join? Am I allowed to?
No, you can't join.
Wait, no.
Is it true if you pre-ordered Battlefield 6, you pre-ordered Battlefield 7? I heard someone saying that was a thing.
Really?
Made Oliver Maroney from OpenSea crack up so much he just nearly died. He literally nearly died because we haven't explained. And it's like, and then Battlefield 6, if you order it now, you pre-order Battlefield 7, and it says everyone lost it at that point because Battlefield 6 is like it's the thinking man's game. It's not like Call of Duty, which is just sweaty. It's Battlefield is you can actually walk more than 2 meters without getting shot. There are vehicles.
That's not necessarily
there are all
true.
sorts of things.
No,
you got to aim your shot to the bullet drop. For sure.
You can survive slightly longer because it's just less sweaty than just bunny hopping, god death swearing at you, and just all of that shit. And that only happens on small maps. But then again, Battlefield 2 was my Battlefield. That was my favorite one.
I really liked Battlefield Vietnam a lot. I missed that game. That was one of my favorites. But I'm excited I played the hell out of the beta. It was amazing. Battlefield 6. I'm ready for it. So be sure to vote whenever we have the poll up. Our lovely production team will be putting that up during the show. Got to mention, guys, we're also live on YouTube and Twitch. We're in addition to X. So support us on all those platforms. Give us a follow. We're going to get into the rules here real quick before we hop into the first boss. And we pull the rules up real quick. So you have to have the A85 average above all bosses. It's across all bosses, an A85 average. Towards the end of each round, the audience will be voting on Twitch, A, B, C, or D, to give you a score on how you did answering the questions. There will be a Slurpee voltage round, which is basically like your cooldown period that you guys will be answering questions that don't have anything to do with the bosses. So you guys ready to play some boss battle?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
All right, let's get into it. Question number 1 says, Warp emerged from gaming industry veterans with over 300 years of combined experience who wanted to disrupt the traditional publisher model. What specific problems in the publishing led you guys to create a decentralized alternative?
I mean, like the fact that publishing in Web3 doesn't exist, that was the main problem. It just doesn't exist. And anyone who claims they are has probably spoken to us first and is just kind of pretending that they know what that actually means. They generally don't know what publishing is. Look, if you look at a game like Valheim, everyone loves fucking Valheim. It's a great game about a small indie team. It's published by Coffee Stain. Coffee Stain is publishing boutique games. There's a publisher for every kind of game. Coffee Stain itself is owned by THQ Nordic, or Embracer Group, as you might know it, which is a multi-billion-dollar org. So even something that's indie like Valheim has a publisher for it. If everyone that gets somewhere outside of just the random indie hits usually has a third-party publisher, and it is fundamental to games. They work in games just like VCs work in crypto, but only they know what the fuck they're doing generally, and they actually have to look at the stats of the game, and if your stats are good, and if they like the game, you get published. It just doesn't exist. So this is why we assembled a team with so much experience Like one of our guys, like our publishing advisor, he was working at Quali. He was getting 500 inbound a week, 500 games inbound a week. We've only got 1,500 Web3 games in the whole space, like verified Web3 games that actually got launched. And he was getting 500 a week Web2 games. We have got so much pie here to grow that if we get a publisher and if we do this right, yeah, the disruption is endless.
Yeah, and I also want to ask you a question when it comes to like the infrastructure of like games and when it comes to publishing, like isn't the publisher also responsible? Maybe it's also on the developer as well for like QA testing, because I don't see any of these products being QA tested at all in Web3.
They're not QA tested in Web 2 anymore either. That's the joke. And that's
Early
why
access.
QA is
Everything
basically
early
being laid
access.
off. Yeah.
Oh,
Early
I
access.
see. I
Most mobile
see.
companies laid it all of QA teams off. Because, QA essentially will tell you what your players will tell you. And it's cheaper to get the players to tell you now than it was to get people to tell you, because reputational damage can be undone with just more spending. And that's how it was in mobile. But I do think, QA and guilds is exactly what we've got this for, right? We're capitalizing guilds as part of the decentralized publisher so that they get funded from the kickbacks that the entire network receives from being in the network. And part of that is being able to actually play those things and get rewards for playing them when it is just intended to play them to test them, not to play them just to love them and enjoy them, or to just shill them. So that's one of the things we're looking into, is decentralizing the testing and rewarding it in a good way. It might be boring ass tests, but it should be decentralized and rewarded. Who better to do that than the bunch of guilds that we're already recruiting in? And we got quite a few of them already signed, so that's all good.
Yeah, and I think like we see that across like games whenever they kind of do like these events, like those events are literally like the QA moments where they're like, oh, we tested it out privately between ourselves, but like now we added a bunch of people with various different setups for PCs and stuff. Why isn't the game launching? I don't know. That's something we got to fix though, and I think like that's something that's very like people don't really think about in this industry in Web3 is like, you're telling the KOLs and like people that are putting on events that are trying to like promote your product to QA in real time, and it's like, how are you supposed to get people in the door if your product isn't functional? So I think it's something that people got to focus on in this industry for sure.
Very much so.
Well, I mean, it's part of building in public, right? If you build in public, it's like, when do you first show that you're building in public? If you're showing them like, okay, you've got your very first scene with your first little dudes running around in it. Like from my previous company, we actually did that. We tested when it was basically just like there wasn't even a level end. Like we actually threw that open to the Discord and tested everything. So by the time the game actually came out, it's pretty fucking robust. It's actually very rare to find a gameplay bug in that game because it was tested through that, and we did pay them. We did pay people to essentially fuck around in the game. And it's quite good if you can do that, but you shouldn't make that into a marketing event. I think there's two stages here. You've got to understand that you're building with a project, you're building with a studio. It's a long-term thing. I mean, we're talking about Battlefield 6 versus, what is it, Call of Duty 7. Everything is like sixes and sevens, right? All right. Like, we haven't even got a fucking one to succeed yet. Like, Off the Grid 2 is going to kick ass, man. I am waiting for Off the Grid 2. I'm going to be so hyped. I'm going to get pub stomped so hard by like Inhuman and all the
They
other
gotta
guys.
fix Off the Grid 1 first before you can get to 2, though. Like, look, I get what you're saying.
As long as we
I
get enough money to get to 2.
That's true. That's very true. Hopefully they reinvested into that. I agree with that.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. I've been playing Loadout Ladder. I enjoy that mode. I'm not an extraction player, but they got Loadout Ladder in there.
Hey, I already downloaded it to connect with the homie Vinny, right? He's been asking me to play, so I'm here to make
me too.
And game with people. It's all it's all good if it's not perfect, but if it's somewhat functional, like cool. But yeah, they got room to improve for sure.
Can I touch on something really quick? I heard a pretty bold statement in here though from Matt, really quick. I turned on violence this morning. I woke up all groggy and stuff, so I'm like, hold on, let's not make this easy. This is boss battles, right? This is boss battles, not boost battles. So you said there's no other real publishers and studios out there. Everybody else that's entering that space doesn't know what the hell that it is that they're doing. Correct? We got it 4K, so just want to make sure.
With one exception, Mythical Games.
Oh man, okay. I was like, so we've got, just from the Web3 standpoint, we've got, I guess we consider what we've got: the mythicals, we've got the immutables, Dapper Labs, or whatever, the Sky Mavises, the Animokas.
All right.
So you're saying
how much about
all?
Animoka's portfolios in profit? None of it.
Yeah.
Like how many Animoka games are actually making $1 million a day? None of them.
They only need one to hit. They only need one to hit, though. They only need one to hit. It's diversifying your portfolio.
But they haven't had any of them to hit. Like that is like, I mean, and how many of them are like actually better than a student project? Not that many. If you look at how much money they've spent on it, they would have been better off just putting their treasury into fucking Bitcoin. To be fair.
Yo,
I mean,
listen,
look at it.
Agree.
I'm just, drop the mic on. Okay, so then let's be fair then. What about what about some of the traditional ones coming into the space? The Ubisoft, the Square Enixes, the Segas, the Konamis, and I don't really know what's going on with like Symbiogenesis or their Sangokushi Taizen or any of that with Sega. But what about them? These are people that have known. Do you think they're just dabbling and they're not going to be able to turn? Because I'm curious, right? Because
they're dabbling, but they will turn eventually. They are big players coming in, but they're dabbling. If you look at what Zynga did with Sugartown, right? They went in there. They took advice from a bunch of Web3 people to how to put 2017 tokenomics into a game, and then they fucked off. And that's what a lot of them did. A lot of Web2 people actually came into it because no one would give them fucking money in Web3. Like the guy from what was the game that tried to sue the 15-year-old kid Verted? And then
man, hold on, it's on my desktop. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Something real,
Haunted Space.
Haunted
Space.
Yeah.
I actually liked that game though a little bit. It wasn't that terrible.
Yeah.
It was actually decent to play.
I mean, look, the thing is that there's those kind of games from Web2 guys. A lot of those Web2 guys would not necessarily have managed to get funded in Web2 because funding was tight. And a lot of people came into the space because Web3 was easier funding. So it's not like Web2 guys are much superior to the people who just started out in Web3 and said, hell, I'm going to make a game. But the thing is, it's like you can always have an opinion on stuff you enjoy. You can always have opinions on games. And I can always have opinions on food, or I can have opinions on football. I will not be a good footballer. I'm nowhere near a professional level chef or anything like that, but I can still have opinions. I can't open a fucking Michelin star restaurant just because I eat a lot of fucking pies. And that is basically what a lot of these people got into. Like, I play a lot of games. I'm going to start a game. And the problem is 99% of these games are actually outsourced. So if you look at Off the Grid, built in the same place that did Shatterline, and you can see which one they put more love to. And that's why you see a lot of these Lyra flips, because the developers are not in-house, right? They're not making those assets in-house. And those guys, like it could be Stanislav and Yuri, they probably have their own game that they're burning to make in their Belarusian studio. And it's probably something like Escape from Tarkov combined with World of Tanks with an even grittier theme. And they really give a shit about that game and not about the game that you're pushing them to build. So unless you have a manager for that shit, that we have like fucking outsource managers, that's a job. That is a full-time fucking job. No one in Web3 even knows that's a fucking job. And even knows that you need to open up that scary app called LinkedIn where they actually care about what you've done in your fucking life and that you actually have some fucking ability to do anything other than have broccoli-shaped hair, Crocs, and a fucking vape. That does not get you a fucking outsource manager. And you need to talk to that person and understand what they say, which is difficult because they'll tell you things like numbers and stuff. And then you'll have to sit down and play with your fatigue and feel a bit sorry for yourself that you didn't hit the right meme coin. That's essentially the issue we have in this fucking space, and we're here to fix it.
I love
like boss
word.
battles exposed, like just expose the industry. But what about bigger players? What about bigger players and publishers like the CCP and Shrapnel?
Oh my god!
That's a joke. That's a joke, guys.
Bro.
That's
we gotta reel it back in at some point. We gotta reel it back in at some point. But Matt is cooking. He's on fire right now. He's cooking. He ulted just now. I don't know if you guys know, but he just ulted the entire lobby, right? Everyone just got fucking leveled. He squad wiped the entire server, bro. God dang.
Money playing. I got Crocs in a vape.
Scene, brother. Scene.
Not gonna say what that is. Not gonna say what kind of doctor. No, I'm done. I'm done. All right, let's get back to the line of questioning here. We still got a bunch of questions here. Boss number 1, and the second question says the team includes former executives from King.com, Vulcan Forge, and PayPal with major gaming credentials. How did this group of industry colleagues come together to build Warp Chain?
Because we're all old and pissed off, it was easy to attract them, essentially. I mean, I've been in games for 20 years. I worked at Jagex, the RuneScape guys. I've worked at Miniclip, and they did 8-ball multiplayer that sold to Tencent for the same price they bought Riot Games. So it must have been making someone some money at some point. Essentially what I did that I should have done when I did my gaming startup was I went to the guy who first hired me into Jagex, and he's now like head of people at Lockwood. And in this time, he has partied through every single town that has a gaming event, and he has partied and got drunk with literally every single person that works in the industry. And I said to him, we have to save this shit. I need the Spartans. I need the fucking Spartans. And we got together and we got all of the old crew from Jagex. We got the former COO of Decentraland, and the guy who actually saved old school RuneScape by finding it in a cupboard on the only non-wiped disc. So props to him for that. Bit negative for him for doing Combat Evolved though. So yeah, be careful. We
That's
got
badass. Wait, you saved RuneScape?
No, Justin, our chief publishing officer. He was also the COO of Decentraland, but he saved old school RuneScape. He brought it back.
Wow,
that's one of his many claims to fame.
That's part of my childhood.
I just stole a mug. When I worked there. I still have my Jagex mug. Obviously, I'm going to put this on cam. And let's see.
He's got relics from the past.
Yo, that's sick.
There we go. The old Jagex mug.
Yeah, what's the flip price on those?
Yeah, I don't know, man, but it has like a little robot and like a little smiley face in it.
Oh my god!
Nice.
That thing is decked out.
Yeah, no, it's got the logo of the games that we're working. Like the zombie with the fun orb, and then there's the RuneScape troll thing.
Yeah,
the mechscape. But yeah.
Yeah, I need me a Catalyst mug now. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's good. It's lasted 20 years.
That's a very interesting story. It's cool to see how you guys kind of connected together. Let's move on to the next question here, and it says Warp positions itself as both a game publisher and a layer 1 infrastructure provider on Avalanche. Walk us through how developers actually use your platform versus traditional publishing deals.
So what they do is they get a lot of the stuff that they would be paying a huge amount every month for free. So if it's, for example, they need a DEX, or they need an NFT marketplace, or they need a questing system, or they need wallet integration, or whatever chain they're on, we provide that tech. If they need AI NPCs, if they need to test their token, how it would look or work on Arbitrum, or how it would work on a different chain, we can provide essentially a sandbox token, which is gasless, that they can then test out in their game. So the idea is that before you actually launch your token, you can play with your game, and you can actually do it on Solana, and you can get an estimation of what the gas fees would be like, what the latency would be like, and all of that kind of stuff. That's the idea. We build up this thing so that they can say which blockchain suits my needs best, as opposed to just being on testnet and then rolling into main. And the other thing, that our chain really acts as a treasury. So that takes the fiat revenue, or the revenue that's coming in from all of these disparate games, onboards it, and then distributes it to the guilds, to the nodes, to the people, to essentially level up and continue growth in the flywheel of the game. And that's why we use these nodes. That's why there's only 3,000, and that's why they're going to earn a lot of money per node.
It kind of sounds like this is like the birth of Web3 game demos in a way. Because I don't think that we really have that. I mean, the demo really is like, I have a sponsorship for you and you can make money for me while you make money. That's pretty much the demo. That's been the model of the demo.
I mean, seriously, we need to align stuff. We need to align what the guilds are doing with what the games are doing, with essentially what we're doing and the chains, because as I was saying before, there is a very, very small, very rich pie, and we can grow it. Like, we can be the rising tide that lifts all the boats. This is what I believe in. I think that, it takes a long time to make games, and takes a long time to make games studios get to where they are now. Think about the cumulative marketing costs from GTA 1 to GTA 6. It's in the multiple billions. But every time they brought out a successful game, that cut the price of marketing their next game. Like, GTA 6 would probably cost 8 times what it does if there was never a GTA 5 or 4 or 3 or 2. Imagine if you just made GTA. No one had ever played GTA before, and you just put this in front of them. It's hard to imagine that people are going to be like, this is the best fucking game ever. Like, still a good game, and we've proven that it's a very good game. But if you're trying to come in and you're trying to sit there and you're going to go up against a 6 or a 7 that's had like 20 years of history, 20 years of people making the same game. Like, when I applied for working in Bethesda, the guys who do Elder Scrolls, they do Skyrim, they do Fallout, right? I actually got the job, and they said if I joined as a level designer, this was Fallout 4 days, I would be a noob for the next 7 years. Like, they hadn't had a sort of a changeover. The last junior was like 7 years. That's how little these teams have turned over. They've been making the same game with the same people for so long. So yes, there's disruption, but it comes from the indie side. If you look at these companies, they have got this down to a fine fucking art. And there is no way that you can just throw 50 million, a bunch of randos, and then hope that you're going to sit there and compete with people who've been making a game for 20 fucking years, and have millions upon millions of people as audience. Like,
Yeah,
off the
and dip
grid, the
into
fact that
that.
they even got that far is fucking amazing.
Yeah, and to dip into that kind of funding and use it for like Airbnbs and parties and traveling and things like that. When you're like, game isn't working, and when I turn in the game in the 3D world, half the world disappears. Like, I got snapped like Thanos, and I'm Spider-Man fading away. I think we got to stop partying so much. Like, what are we celebrating about? Let's make a product first. Like, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. Totally, 100%. Shout outs to Agent Zanny in the chat. Guys, keep your eyes peeled. I think the poll's going to go live pretty soon for this boss here. Zanny on both X and Twitch. That's support right there. You're watching us on both X and Twitch. That's support.
Shout out Zanny.
Shout out Zanny in the chat. Let's go on to the next question. And it says, your model promises that anyone can own a slice of the gaming history through the node ownership. How does this practically change the relationship between players, developers, and publishers?
Well, it's the difference between you like a game, you think it's going to work, and you whale into that token, or you whale into their assets before they've released the game. You are now dependent on that game and that bag and the chain also working. And what we do is, through the node, is instead of having that, you have multiple chains. So we've signed with multiple different chains. And then on top of that, you have multiple games as well. So what you're actually buying is, you're buying something that gets revenue from all of the different ecosystems and all of the different types of games. So essentially, it's a safer bet. And that's why it's a slice of the industry as opposed to a slice of a game. Because it might be that the game you like doesn't actually succeed. But what we have in our process, because of our platform, is we can actually, any of the games on our platform, using our Catalyst tech, they can actually, and I realize the irony of Catalyst tech, but it was a good name, man. But yeah, so
yeah, shout out Mickey for the naming convention.
Mama, we made it.
It's so cool. But the funny thing is, this tech allows you to essentially honor any NFT contracts on about like 23 plus chains. So if your game is dying, you can actually onboard the players from that game to another game by honoring those contracts in that game. And you can do that even with Web 2 stuff as well, which is pretty fucking crazy, because we can actually publish Web 2 games. And because we take their revenue and onboard it onto the chain, you can have a fully Web 2 cozy game. Any gamer that you say Web 3 to would literally think you've shat on their cake, and would tell you this. And those people can still be onboarding their money into Web3, and you still get to take their money and enjoy it and laugh at them when they're telling you off about owning a Bitcoin,
We have
which they all do.
We have a interesting, controversial question here from the audience. It says, ask him what 9 Heroes did wrong. That game was really good. And I agree. That game was pretty good. Well, fun.
We had fun with that. We had fun.
It was fun. It had a little bit of bugs on my end, but I think it might have been hardware limitations, to be honest. But what do you think about what do you think about it?
All their money. That's what they did. I've actually talked to the guys. They're fantastic guys. Good game. Could have done with more work. They just spent all their money. What they did was their business spent more money than they received, and therefore their business went bankrupt. Like, it was a fantastic game. It just wasn't making any fucking money. That's why it doesn't exist anymore. Like, they needed to either monetize it better, or they needed to raise to continue that game so that then they could monetize it more. Like, games are not like Twitter. You can't just run it at a loss for 400 billion years. It's not how it works. I mean, games are not like Uber or any other tech company that you can just get users and people are just going to keep shipping into you. It doesn't really matter about the token price at that point. If you do not open people's proof of work, which is their wallet, in real life, the one that they have in their pants and they get out and they pay for shit and they tip and they hate that. Unless you open that wallet, you're never going to get your game successful. And they didn't do that. I think a lot of games feel like they can make this sort of terrarium where you just water it once and everything works and it all lives, and there are little bugs in the soil that do this, and there are plants. Pro tip, there's only like 2 of them in existence that have lasted around about 40 years. Like, it's very fucking hard to make something that just relies on selling its own token. And it's doubly hard if you're actually paying people to fucking play it, and you're not paying them to expand that. I think they could have done more with referrals. They could have done a lot more with referrals, and they needed more money to do the game they were doing. I think it's the case they bit off more than they can chew.
Well,
like, if I had 2 million, would I make an MMO? No fucking way. Would I make a casual game? Yes. I would make a simple casual game that can make money the simplest way. You have to work to your budget, or you have to have the ability to raise to it.
Yeah, and you talk about
nothing
like
wrong
building.
With the game, though, really.
Yeah, the game was fine, but when you talk about building in public, and we think about like, okay, when is the right time to do that? Well, they launched a token, and I was in there in the community, and the sentiment was very low after the token just completely went down after launch. And then you look at the game, and it's like, what can I use this token for? Well, nothing, so I have to sell it, right? Like, I can't hold on to this. Yep. What is it going to do?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one of the major flaws. Like, when I did like my Web3 game, the token was the thing that you used to level up. And yeah, my co-founder put the fucking rewards for the weeklies up far too high, and we got farmed to bejesus. But we also went up from 10,000 monthly active to 200,000 monthly active using a Web2 referral system, which no one else in Web3 even fucking knew existed. It's called AppsFlyer, if you want to know. And it's called OneLink, and it's very good. And it's very fucking pricey. It's 12K a month. I digress. Essentially, like, you have to have the token do something in your game if you want it to work. And this is what we need, is ROTS, return on token spend. You need to have more money coming in than the money you are shilling out. Like, imagine if you started World of Warcraft and someone gave you 84,000 gold, the game would quickly lose its shine. Like, because there's nothing you need anymore. There's nothing to grind for. You can buy every single status symbol that's buyable with gold. And then you kind of don't want to do the hard work because you've already got 99% of the rewards in there. And it becomes less fun. And this is what happens when you give a massive fucking airdrop of a game token that can only buy 1 or 2 things. It's kind of pointless. Everything it devalues the feeling of the game itself. It devalues the feeling of how much effort and work you need to put in. So airdrops are meant to be sold. That's the point. And then you have to use that airdrop and that selling of the airdrop to make these happy people come back and put real money into your game. And if they want to do that, then that's fucking amazing. Can guarantee you, if Puzzle and Dragons would have had a crypto, it would probably be a country on its own, because at one point that game was 70% of all in-apps in Japan. Like you have to make money to make free money, make money. It's a sad thing. If the richest souls get richer, same thing.
Yeah, I'll give Off the Grid some credit there. They did have like a subscription, even in the testnet days, that you could opt into. Wasn't a lot of money for them, but it was definitely something to start off with. And like people confuse revenue and profit all the time. Like just because you're making revenue doesn't mean you're in profit. Like it's a very simple math equation. If you're spending more than you're taking in, like you're not in profit. So like you're getting revenue, but you're still not in profit. So I do see some comments here.
True. And funny fact, our monetization advisor is actually the monetization guy who's working currently with Off the Grid with Theodore. Good to know.
Small world. This world is very small. Keep going in circles here. Mizzy says they trusted the wrong people. LOL. It's probably true. Mizzy was in the know, I believe.
Who?
Who? You say who? You don't know who Mizzy is?
No, who's the wrong people?
Oh, I mean, you're gonna have to ask Mizzy on that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. By the way,
Sure.
the Web 2 referral system was alpha, so I don't know if you guys picked up on that. This poll is absolutely closed, and we didn't get to the goal we needed, so try again next time. Do you guys know what Battlefield 6 is? It is the best multiplayer military simulator combat game. Oh, I don't know about simulator, but you know, your bullets drop if you shoot from far distances. Like that's a fucking fun game. Sorry for cursing, but I love the game a lot. And if you love the game too, you should vote on the next boss because we might be giving that away for free.
Yeah, you guys don't have 20 members in Wolves now? Is there like at least 20 of you in there?
Sometimes.
They come in packs or singles?
They got to come in packs, man.
Definitely
Come on.
packs, but you got to rip them.
Oh. I see what you did there. Who is Mizzy? Tell me. Mizzy is a very large and tall individual that has a very deep voice, and he's also in the anime universe. That's who Mizzy is. That's who Mizzy is. Let's go to our last question here on the first boss, and it says the white paper mentions supporting both indie studios and AAA development. What does your end-to-end game development pipeline look like from concept to launch?
Very fucking long, really long. It's just exceptionally long. Like if you're talking about from concept to launch, depending on the size of the game, that can be a couple of years. So we have people who are experienced in all stages of game development. If you're an indie and you're approaching us, we're actually building a game for an ordinals community called Node Rocks. The game is called Sandrox. The studio is called Studio FOMO. We supported them basically from concept. They wanted to make an Angry Birds-ish game. And then we took that through the process. We had everyone kind of take a look, do the designs together, put it to the developers that we know and can trust, and we build out from there. When that goes into a stage when we can actually start putting it in front of players, we'll do testing, we'll look at the numbers, we'll look at the retention, we'll look at all of that kind of stuff. We'll even potentially test different art styles depending on the budget, so that you can actually make sure that the art style we have resonates. Once you've got that testing done, we put it to the UA partners, and the user acquisition goes something like this. If you get a return on your spend, so let's say it costs $1 to get a person into a game, and you make $1.10 after 30 days, you can effectively then borrow a bunch of money. We're going to do this on chain soon with game bonds, and they're backed by us. You can go to the Saudis or you can go to Poland VC, and you can literally borrow that. And this is how you get like Raid Shadow of Legends in front of every single device that you can ever see, even your smartwatch. It's like, have you played Raid Shadow of Legends? And you turn on YouTube, it's like, oh, Raid Shadow of Legends. Like it's literally UA or user acquisition is about putting a button in front of every single thing that you touch, even your microwave, that says install this goddamn game. And that can be spending millions a day. But to do that, you need to borrow a shit ton of money, and you need to prove that the game will make more money over different periods of time, depending on how much you're borrowing. So if you can get like, again, it costs $3 or $1 to get this person in. And if you get $3 in 180 days, you can loan even more. And this is something you can prove with statistics, something that people who do tokenomics seem to have no fucking knowledge of, which is weird to me because they seem to love spreadsheets.
No, they love statistics when it favors them, not when it doesn't favor them. Let's be honest. Let's be honest here for a sec. But no, what you said is so true. And I think like a proof of that is the dude that put that horse racing anime waifu game on his fridge, and his son was like, "What are you doing, Dad?" And he's like, "What do you mean? I'm racing my waifu right now." And I was like, that's adoption right there. That's a level of obsession that Web3 games need to fucking go after. Because if you have that, if you have your Web3 game on a fridge, like, come on, man. You gonna be in the fridge in the kitchen? Oh, I'm gonna check up on my horses real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's care. I mean, that's tender love and care, bro. That's TLC right there.
Exactly. And I think if Web3 were to look at it that way, they would actually be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sell the fridge. I'm going to sell the whole fucking fridge. Not just the game. It comes with only one game. I'm going to sell the fridge, and we're going to tokenize it. And you need a certain amount of tokens to open it. And people are like, what? How? Why? And then we're going to raise 18 million from like A16Z to do this shit. And then that's what's going to happen. And the fridge will be the lowest quality fridge that you can make. And it'll basically be a fridge that already exists with a new label poorly pasted over it. And it will just have like some weird lock that you have to play this stupid game to do. And you'll have to connect your wallet. Sometimes it won't connect. And sometimes it would be like, do you want to sign this transaction? You'd be like, can I look at the transaction? It's like, no, that's just a bunch of hashes. And then you're going to itch so hard, your crops will fly off and you'll drop your vape in surprise.
Yeah. What am I signing? And like, am I buying the Soldier game console, or am I buying a blockchain
milk
phone?
For your fridge? And that's already gone off because you can't.
Who is like, this for? Who is this for is the question I always have in Web3. It's like, who is this for? Because it's not for me. It's not for gamers, but it's like a gaming thing. Like, I don't get it. That is going to be the first boss of Boss Battle. We're going to go into our special announcement, and I'm going to pass the mic over to my co-host, Ramen. The badge is now live. Ramen, take it away.
You know it's my favorite part of the show because I love things that are free 99. Yes, that is my favorite price. And that badge that we have right now is freaking frizzle free. So make sure you go and collect that. It's a gasless transaction like everything should be in Web3 gaming. And for those that have been collecting all these badges for many, many, many years, it's what it feels like in Web3, like dog years every month. It's like 7 go by. But we have some special, hold on, this is a word nobody uses in Web3. It's going to have some utility within the Web3 ecosystem here at Catalyst. Super spicy today, like tonkotsu ramen. But make sure you go and you collect that thing. It's going to be up for a limited time. Shout out Rev for doing that. And yeah, get it. It's free stuff. We like free stuff out here.
Free 99.
Means subsidized. It's usually subsidized. Grown people know this. It's never free. It's subsidized somewhere. You're paying for it. It's not like free. Yeah.
Yeah, that word utility ramen. What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
We don't want to offend it. We don't want to offend people. We work on hype and vibes here.
We use the S word around here. We're speculation. We don't use.
We sell on ether while people are high as hell, and then when it wears off, you come to the realization. It's like, wait, what just happened?
You know, I saw a post from Bark today, Bark Meta, and he said that crypto is run by people on Spaces smoking weed. Like that's all it is. And I'm like, you know what?
Why are you knocking my start? Why are you knocking my start into Web3, bro?
It sounds quite accurate.
I thought you couldn't smoke it and still be successful. Isn't that the biggest question? Can you smoke weed and still be successful? I remember the
No,
I remember
think Joe Rogan. What a dummy. Who would have the largest podcast in the world that smoke weed?
I think you can smoke weed once you are successful. Like you've earned it, right? You've worked your ass off. You've earned it. You know, just
so like I was successful as hell then.
I got work to do. The job's not finished.
Man, that's so wild. All
right, let's hop into Boss 2.
He cut me off at the perfect time again. I was all excited. I was like, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. All right, folks. Big Bucks, are you ready over here for boss number 2? We got to get grim with it. You're going to unleash the Shaolin within?
Ooh.
Yeah, they got to do it, man.
Man, I try to like
there.
I try to hit everybody here, and y'all are like pebbles, stone cold, stoic, no response. So let me get into the first one. Ooh, why did they always give me the money questions?
Big bucks, that's good.
Hey, we gotta get.
Your name is Ramen Cash, and you are full of money. I mean, your money is in your name, bro. That's why.
Yeah, but I'm really more ramen these
you named
days,
yourself.
To be real.
This is your fault. This is literally.
This is a Web 2 name that extended into Web 3. I'm sorry, when I was in Web 2, I actually had money. Okay, let me get into this next boss.
I know.
All right. Oh, God, it's I'm a glutton for punishment. Node operators are promised monthly revenue shares ranging from $40 to $400 based on WRP token performance. What actual games and revenue streams currently support these payouts?
Currently support these payouts.
So we're going to be launching a bunch of games.
Go for it.
Yeah, Grim, take it away.
No. You take it.
No, I can do it.
because I'm
happy to.
All right, actually.
Oh, nervous? What's going on here?
Look, so the token generation event is happening in November. So currently, the validators that you buy will go online when the TGE happens, and then the AI as well will activate. We've been signing about 3 or 4 games a week. We've got some of them announced already, like Turbo Battle Arena, CZ Runs. We're doing some stuff with LFG. We're also pushing on Aaliyah and some others titles, Call of the Void, and a few more like Juicebox games that we've got coming up. But then again, as we're a publisher and as these are Web3 games, a lot of them do need a bit more work before you can just say that they're absolutely ready. So we're looking to basically start the sort of those games getting money in around Q1, Q2 is when they'll be actually earning. But in the meantime, there is, I think, 20 or 21% of the token in the tokenomics to the validators. As 20% of the token goes to the validators, and at our 37 million market cap FTD, that's like 3 years of rewards. The lower band that you said, for all of them. So they're all profitable for at least 3 years, even if the games don't make revenue, according to the tokenomics, and that will be supported additionally with revenue when that comes in, and buybacks and burns and all the rest of it. So we aim to have by the end of next year around about 50 to 100 games up in some way at some stage through the process. With multiple
tell
releases.
me the juicy numbers.
Running
What are the projection for like these nodes when these games are running?
This is the fun bit. This is the fun bit. Look, if we get to 10%, just 10% of the size of the EA, the pro node, the $500 node, will be earning 42K a year. And the reason for this is because we want the nodes to be able to support studios, and they get a syndicate node, and that syndicate node is essentially 5 of these nodes strapped together, which is great because you can do all of these fun things in Web3. So we want these games to be, or these nodes to essentially hit a burn rate of like 100 and like something like 50K a month is what we think is a good burn rate for an indie studio, or on the larger side. So that's what we're aiming to be getting those earnings up for a syndicate node. And obviously you get double plus more on the enterprise node as well. And if we actually do make it to EA sort of standards or 10-cent standards, then we're talking millions of dollars. I think it's like $3 million for the pro node. And at this point, when this thing goes absolutely crazy, the way that these modular nodes are designed, you'll actually be able to fractionalize those nodes and sell off the little nodelets, and the validation and the earning powers to your buddies or your friends or just anyone who loves you. You can give them a node for a present.
Brother, you just call me a nodelet?
Nodelet.
Hey, Christmas is coming up.
I found out there is actually a call called Nodo Baggins, and everyone knows who he is. Everyone, he doesn't go by that name, but that is the name I've christened him. Because if you meet him IRL, that's exactly what he is. He's Nodo Baggins.
That's awesome.
Can we have like a Bo Nodo Jackson, like Bo knows blockchain and Bo knows games? For all those boomers in here. Web3. Sorry. All right. So yeah, so I mean, like, this is one of those scenarios. If everything goes, this thing is gonna cook. But it's like we gotta get the step one first, right? We gotta get the games that are on. We gotta get these games. We gotta get them performing. Nice. All right, that actually kind of leads up into the next question. So question number 2, boss number 2, your node sale launched with, I think you kind of touched on this a bit actually, with 3 tiers and promises of up to 20% of publishing profits. How do you ensure sustainable returns when most game publishing deals are already thin margin businesses?
And because we take 50% of the revenue, bro. That's how we do that. We take 50% of the revenue because we're aligned, they're aligned, but we don't take their token. So they can actually earn their bags and they can earn their sort of Lambo money off their token. And token performance will be based on the revenue and all the rest from the game. So that's where they get their Lambo money. We don't take their tokens. We don't sort of slap on ridiculous advisory fees. They don't have to pay us like X hundred, like $1,000 a month to use our services. No, we don't take money. We take revenue, and that's why this the only system in Web3 actually matters if the game is good and wins. And because we only make money if the game makes money, then you got to be you're pretty sure that we're gonna make that a thing because we've done it hundreds of times.
It's music to my ears, bro. Like time and time again,
developers
that's
everywhere.
not the focus, you know. Dude. I hate to use this phrase, but this is making me really bullish, guys.
That's like those ambulance chaser lawyers. You're like, you don't pay a dime unless we settle and get you millions, right? So if you get like in an accident, like we're not taking nothing unless we do it. So, yeah, your performance. Well, you have to, yeah. But I mean that makes a lot of sense, right? And let's bring it down to simplicity. Do you think a lot of the reasons why some of these projects that had potential is because there was so much money up front that was required for them to get them to a position to be visible, but not enough to sustain operationally? I feel, right? I'm going to use okay, never mind. Oh, he said it. Okay. So it's like you're really putting skin in the game. You're saying like, we're so confident that we know that we're going to produce, that we're not going to take shit from you unless we actually produce. And you're right. These advisory fees probably just shot a lot of coals in the foot right now in projects and places that get part of token distribution. But I mean, it's kind of true, right? And then when you're holding that much token and their whole model is, well, we need to make bread and that's relying on that. And then there's all that sell pressure. It's cyclical and it comes back. And yeah, we're fucking insane in Web3. It's very cyclical. I think we're doing some of the same
and
stuff.
This is why we don't want to take their token. But like, we don't want to take their token because we want the team or whatever to get their moon bags. Some of these games probably already have like some quite shockingly terrifying tokenomics that have more inflation repression than Venezuela, and there's probably at least one VC who's just about to dump like 36% of the supply on you because he's been sitting there and not sold any of it and he's now vested. He's just waiting for you to get relisted, and then he's going to be like, and then just drop it down like a dick on your shoulder from behind. And that is what the games are facing. And then only facing that, but every single call who's run out of money because games don't have it anymore are like fucking hitting up the game founders on the timeline and shouting about them. And it's so hilarious. It's now a straw man because there's not a game founder left to respond to them. It's kind of embarrassing. There's so few of them left, they can't even argue back. They're like a protected species, Web3 game founder, the rare, lesser spotted in a conference Web3 game founder. But this is the thing, like we don't want to do that. We don't want to actually add more sell pressure to all of this shit because at the end of the day, that makes the game less likely to succeed. And unlike the rest of Web3 business that's set up to make money before the game and token launches, because after the token launches, the game is dead. And we're set up to make money from the actual game. And because if you look at all of the SaaS services, all of the software as a service, all of the launches, all of the launch pads, all of the with DEXs, marketplaces, most of them have to extract their pound of flesh before the game hits TGE because they know that that's the end of the game. And that's very sad. So they're basically bleeding out all the VC money that the game has until, until it goes live. And then some people make some money and then the game kind of slowly dies. And that's very sad, except if you're, loaded from your TGE.
Unless you're a VC, that's very good. That's just business.
Yeah,
right?
It's time to be a VC. Can't beat them.
No. You can never get me in those pants.
It's almost like you can feel it, right? If you read between the lines and the verbiage, we're looking to reallocate. We're looking to strategically position ourselves with a chain that aligns better with our core vision, like all the stuff on there that's reminiscent of the Web3 apology letter and the things like that. But I also feel them, and I think a lot of this is funded when chains come out like, we're offering $1 million to 20 games who want to build on. I think you're feeding the mediocrity, I think, kind of in a way by doing that, because then you're thinking that you can build 20 games with $1 million on there. I don't know. It's kind of wild how this is all happening. But, thank you, Clouds. Hey, poll number 2 is live. Can we hit 20 this time? Listen, we need warpers out there. I'm not sure what we're calling people. The worst word. We're calling some warpers out there. We're calling what'd you call me? A nodler? We're calling nodlers. We're calling
Nodal baggins.
We're calling the puppy down to come in droves and come take over the scene over here. We're throwing out some free meat on this poll. That free meat is Battlefield 6. Enjoy that. We love. I was like, you love Battlefield 6.
Is puppy down the one that brings actual puppy? Oh, because there is I went to a Web3 event. It was
no way. There's a puppy down.
There was a puppy room. There was literally a room. It was like one of the NFT. It was like NFT London or something. There was a room with puppies in it. It was great. They played with the puppies, and then my family got pink eye. That's from hugging the puppies too much. It was
from hugging them.
Yeah, he was like hugging the puppy, and the puppy was like licking his face, and he was like. It's like his eyes swell up. That was that was a trip.
I'm never hugging. Why you gotta kill hugging puppies for me live on the show?
Man, who pulled up to that event?
Bro, just come out there ruining puppy events. No more beagle down.
I just enjoyed the puppies, man. I was just happy. Puppy on the lap, chilled, a bunch of degens. My family was just too hyped. Yeah.
Yeah, that speculation got to him right in his eyeball. That's like Capybara Cafe. I really enjoyed that place. I want to go there one day and visit that, but I don't want to get too sidetracked because I love furry animals like capybaras. They're great animals.
Oh, we know.
But yeah, stop it, Otto. Stop it. All right, we got a couple more. That's it. Don't even start dead. Don't even do it, you guy. I know where you're going with this.
I didn't say.
All right, I know you didn't, but I know.
What Money just said. I did not say that.
I know what you are thinking, sir. I am a box of noodles. I am not a furry. Stop wishful thinking and projecting on this show. It's wild. All right, the next question. So the model requires both successful game launches and active node validation to work. So what happens to node operator rewards if your published games underperform or fail?
So, I mean, presumably, we're going to have a few of these games underperform and fail, but presumably we're also going to have many of them succeed. And in the bizarre case that we are so retarded that none of our games work and that we actually our 300 years of experience has just made us senile instead of the billions that we've actually made, you will still get rewards from 20% of the token. So that's guaranteed at the lower rate specified for 3 years. And that is essentially there is token for rewards that will be paid out anyway, despite the revenues or not. And that will continue on. And essentially what we use the chain for is our treasury. It's just a treasury chain really that we can dip into and we can actually just get that liquidity for the games that are going to succeed. And we can push them. And look, we look at the stats of all the games. We're in the stats of all the games. We're not just like looking like a VC at their Discord, like, oh, there's a lot of emojis on this. This is definitely going to send. oh my goodness, I should go to the London DC Partners lunch today, and I will wear my tightest tie when I do that. And then I'm going to invest £3 million in this one startup because they had lots of Discord emojis, because I think that will really send. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. And we actually see the real data.
Oh, so, shit. I'm laughing hard when my eyes disappear on my avatar.
That just happens to me naturally, to be fair.
Bro, I'm half Japanese, bro. I feel you, though. Let's go. Hey, I'm lucky. I was built in with natural awnings, so I love sunrises in the morning. I like to just embrace it all in. It works out great for me. Now, and I've kind of assumed that, not all games are going to, they're going to work. I think that question also is kind of hinting towards like, what are some of the things, because I think kind of like permission versus, permissionless, right? I feel like there's going to be some kind of vetting. Like, I think that you're going to do, I think you guys are smart enough combined, what is it, like 800 years of veteran experience that you can be like, you know what?
Number keeps going up every time.
Every time.
Listen, I'm trying to help a homie out, okay? With 1,000 years of combined experience, you can't lose. So listen, I'm just saying that I think there's going to be some kind of like
1,000 years we turn into tiny little girls, you know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's when the airdrop hits too. So you got to long on. This is only for long-term holders.
Talking of that, there's waifus. There is actually AI waifus that come with the nodes. Amazing.
Bro is pumping his own bags right now. He's like, AI waifus are like, this shit just sent.
That's brilliant.
Charts are off the charts. There's charts for charts. He's talking about waifus.
Annie, are you okay?
Eddie,
I get it.
Are you okay?
Annie, are you
yeah. So
okay?
I mean, like, what, like, just a quick, you don't have to go like in depth, but I mean, like, if there's like a quick checklist, right, with you all the guys, and I think this is just for me to know, maybe some good information for those that are out there. But like, what are some of the very obvious things that you're looking for? Like, hopefully you have the heart to tell them, hey, this ain't it. But what are some of like the obvious checkpoints you would think before, putting a game into the warp down? Because I'm sure you're looking at stuff, and apparently with no, number one wins, we're all missing something. What do you feel is like that missing key that people aren't asking? I feel like the right questions aren't being asked.
I think you need to find a game at the right stage of its development. We can handle games at different points or from the start to the end, but you need to find a game that has not gone so far into making the game that they can't change shit, and that they would never get the money, and they haven't got analytics. Or you need to find a game where it's like at the right stage that you can still improve stuff and they listen. So the main thing that we look for is any stats, any feedback, anything they've got. So what's their playtest numbers? Are those playtest numbers statistically significant? Is this game and this team worth running a statistically significant playtest for? That's one thing we look at. Like, it might be a lovely looking game, but if they've only tested it on like 5 people, and those 5 people haven't already gone out and got 50 more people to come in because they're so excited about it, we might have some questions about that. But we want to make sure that the game is obviously playable, that we played it, or that they have enough runway for us to make the game, and that it looks good from that point of view. From the founding team, they have competence to run the game. The partners that they're dealing with are legit. So we're obviously going to make sure that they have access to their own code. You would not believe how many Web3 projects do not actually have access or ownership of their fucking code. Like, literally, like half of them, the developers could just turn off their access, and that is it for them for the game. So we make sure that they have ownership of their shit.
That's a major pain point that I never heard about before. Wow.
No. It's because they outsource everything. I mean, because they don't know how to hire for designers and tech guys, because they've never done it before. And they don't.
You don't own your GitHub repository?
It's different.
You will own nothing and be happy, Ramen.
No, you can't WEF that situation. It literally happened to us. You can't be like, oh, nothing. If there is a personal repo, you can't be like, hey, he was part of our business.
And the funny thing is that this is from the same people who will literally go on TL and say, not your fucking wallet, not your coins or whatever.
Not your keys, not your crypto.
Yeah, not your keys, not your crypto. By the way, the Vietnamese dev owns our entire fucking future. Just saying. Like, what the fuck are you doing, guys? You literally know that that's a bad thing. And you shouldn't do that. So we make sure you have access to it. If you don't, we make sure we can get you access to it and we can clone your repos and all of this. We also make sure you have a viable path to launch on either mobile or like PC or any of those other platforms that you're doing. I mean, we make sure that you're not just some weird exe downloadable that's going to, infect people's computers and take all of their money. It's like there's a lot of things that we go through, and we've done a lot of these checks before we actually have a full document on that. It's, we like to call it an MOT, or Ministry of Transport test, which Justin, he thinks everyone else in the world understands, but it doesn't, because they probably don't call them that anymore in England. And 90% of the people we deal with are not from England, so they don't know what it means. But it's basically the test that your car has to do like every year or every so often to prove that it's still worthy of going on the road. It's a standardized test, and we do that. And we do that for all the games. They have to pass that kind of test. And
that's smart.
And once we do that, we start working with them.
You guys have like a lot of basic things that I never thought about could be problems in Web3, and now they're very alarming. Robin, I don't know who does all the recaps for this show, but whoever does that, they're gonna have a field day on this episode. There's so much content in this episode. Holy shit, dude.
Nodler. That's what they're going to get from all this. That's all they got.
Nodo
Baggins. Nodo. All right. Well, apparently we got a few more questions. 2 more questions. Boss number 2. I'm taking longer than a 70-year-old in the bathroom break. So we got to speed run these last 2 questions. You're building on Avalanche while most gaming still happens on traditional platforms. How do you bridge the gap between, I hate that freaking line. Whoever did that question sucks. I hate that bridge the gap. How do you bridge the gap between Web3 infrastructure promises and mainstream gaming adoption?
Because we don't. Like, those games stay where they are. We use our chain to collect the money. That's what our chain does. It collects the money and provides testing tools. We don't want to fucking we're not Gala, we're not retarded. We're not going to put our token in your game and then fuck spider tanks with the long dick of the law for 6 months so they can't update anything. And watch the best possible game in Web3 just die slowly as we spend all of our money on more bullshit and promises. Nah, we're not going to do that. Like, we don't bridge the fucking gap, and I don't like bridging in general. It's just very fucking confusing. I want to change my F to Polygon for some reason. I don't want to put my F on Polygon. I want to put my Polygon, and just give me the Polygon. I need to like bet on something or whatever it is. You know what I mean? We just try and keep things simple. You know, our chain is a treasury chain that collects the cash.
Matt, you're telling me that you don't want to like build a game for a long time and then invite content creators to play it and then tell them not to stream it? You want to actually just like let them do what they want with the game? It's pretty bullish.
Yeah, no, like the business has built the game. They do that. We help them in whatever way we can to be successful for free so that they share their success with us. And that success goes onto our chain. Their token doesn't go onto our chain. Our token doesn't go onto their game. We might use our token to incentivize things like testing or like other sort of like tech stuff that they might want, or liquidity provision for selling that to buy UA. In general, we do not want a game on our chain even. We don't want to publish other people's games onto our chain. If they're going to come to Avalanche, they'll be on C chain. If they're going to be on Immutable, they'll be on Immutable. And this is why we can sign preferred publishing partnerships with Scale and Vayner and all the others. We keep ourselves separate. And it really intrigues some people. They're like, what? So you take 50% of the revenue and then you're not even... And they're looking at you and you can see the calculations and you're like, I know you have a 100 million fund for your chain. You cannot pull this off. Don't try. You can invest in us if you want. Don't try and do this yourself. It's going to go horribly wrong. But they're like, and we just make what on the transactions, like 3 cents, and you take 50% of everything they have, and then you give them back 20% of everything the network. That sounds like a really good idea, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, it does. That's why we're doing it. So yeah, taken from a real conversation with the chain.
This guy's turning boss battles into Bucks battles. You can't run this thing. That's our show. This ain't Bucks battles. It's our show. It's my bike, punk. It's my bike. All right. Well, anyway, these are great answers, by the way. So hopefully, out those that are watching, shout out to everybody that's out there watching on the 85 platforms with the guys with 1,200 years of gaming experience. We appreciate every single one of you. But we are going to close this out. I've got one last question here. So the team has impressive credentials, but Wormchain is relatively new to market. What evidence can you point to that validates the decentralized publishing model, that validates that the decentralized publishing model actually works?
I mean, I'd say the absence of this model and then the absence of anything else in any other fucking configuration working. That's probably a good degree of evidence. No one's tried it, and nothing else has worked. But you look at things that are close to working, like Mythical, who've got good IPs. They're doing essentially third-party publishing. They're publishing for FIFA. They're publishing for Budgies. It works. They are decentralized. They have a token. We can see that the big boys have been doing it for a while. That's how we think this is going to go in. If you look at Mythical for what they're going to do with the IPs, they're probably getting less return. We're just opening up to way more chains and to way more games and all of that. And you see Mythical is like also kind of chain, right? This is something that is happening by the back door. We're just making it a bit more obvious. So I'd say look to those things that are actually succeeding, like WeMix as well. Had some good games coming in. These are things that are not really talked about on Timeline because they make money. And when they make money, you don't need to pay people to talk about them.
That's, it's interesting, right? Because I think Mythical is actually getting a little bit more hype, but I pay attention to anything that has 1 million downloads plus or 500,000 downloads plus in a store. And those are all very familiar. All the different Rivals titles, the Nitro Nations that are out there. I listen, I Pudgy Party in the bathroom, it's great. So like anything that it seems like that they're touching and publishing is actually is doing well. So I try to pay attention to that. And you're right, like why is that? I know you don't have to pay people, but you think that if people are truly concentrated on the success of that, you would talk about the things that are making money. It feels like this is some mystical thing of revenue generation in Web3 gaming, but I'm like, yo, how do you not talk about these? They all have
because they're not making money.
Exactly.
It's like, is it all cope? Is it cope? Is that it is?
It's not even cope. It's like if you're making like $1 million a month with your game, do you really need to pay people like 50,000 to shill your game over 5 tweets? No, you really don't. Like, you really don't need that guy.
Valorant doesn't need it. Fortnite doesn't need it. Battlefield don't need it. Minecraft.
You're saying have a good product and people will come? Wait, no. Stop it.
You speak facts, though. It's true.
That.
That's like
you want to connect with the community.
Out, right?
Yeah. Shit.
But you're like Expedition 33 came out. Every single call in this space played it because if they didn't, they'd be irrelevant. Every single one of them had a take on it. Every single call has been paid shit tons of money to fly all over the world to play shitty pixel games that could have been vibe coded in 2 hours. All of those guys played this one game that didn't even know they fucking existed because they needed to do it to be relevant. And that is how good a game should be. When a game is that good, people come to them to shill them.
Absolutely wild. And listen, guys, anybody that's got 1,400 years experience combined, you should definitely be listening to them.
By the end of the show, it's going to be 10,000, I swear to God.
This is representative of your bags, sir.
That was the last
crypto years. It's crypto years.
Yeah.
You gotta add extra years because it's crypto. That makes sense. Yeah, I look at stuff in mirror, dude. I'm aging quick. Like,
you think crypto's fast? Look at
my
AI.
Hairline
you think 1 month is 7?
Bro, Ramen, my hairline is creeping up every day because of all the stress that the last month gave me with all those dips. Then I was like, you know what? Let me buy the dip. Yeah, I have a hairline, motherfucker.
Yeah, your hairline buy the dip?
Yeah. Did your noodles buy the dip?
Nah, look at these things. They flowing and glowing, baby. Look at the physics on these.
I know you ain't talking. You as old as all of us. Come on now.
Yo, shout out to our guy on our favorite platform.
18 years of experience. Let's hit a quick ad break. Let's talk about Slurpee real quick. We're gonna hop into our voltage round, and then we'll be heading into the final boss. We'll see you guys very, very soon.
Foolish crypto hodl. Foolish crypto hodl. With a name like that, this guy thinks he's a crypto guru, but he's really just a shit gamer. Isn't this the guy who thinks a minimap is a requirement for a game? Fool! It doesn't surprise me that this loser quit Valorant! Don't be like him, gamers. Get Slurfy. It'll make your gaming experience over 9,000! Drink Slurfy. Enjoy the blast. Know your place, gamers! Know your place! Follow for more content! Or your...
I like what you got there. Let me show you what I got. Check this.
Slurfy.
Catalyst.
Shout out to our production team for the ads that we put out there. Shout out to me for the voice acting.
Shout out Murphy.
I got to do another one. I'm feeling like it's time to do another evil Monkey King thing. I think it's time. Cloud says, got to make some more Slurfy recipes. Yes, you do. How is that cooking thing coming along, by the way? Is that a leak? I don't know if that's leaked. Oops. I'm like Tom Holland. I leak things. I don't know if that's a leak or not, but I think Cloud's working on something. I think he's cooking something up. I could be wrong, though. We're going to move right on in to our next segment, which is the Slurfy Voltage round. Now, this is kind of interesting because usually we have one person as a guest. So I think this is where other people can hop in if they want to and answer the question as well. So feel free to do so.
It's time for the Slurfy Voltage round. Sponsored by Slurfy Voltage. Feel the energy.
Classified emoji. I don't know if that was secret or not. I forget. So maybe it's not coming. Who knows? What do I know? I'm just a Dogenal dog and a seal holder. What do I know? Question number 1 on Lightning Round says, if your decentralized publisher model was a movie genre, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. If it was a movie genre, like an entire genre, yeah, I think it would be a romantic comedy. Because we take the ugly girl and we take the glasses off the ugly girl, and suddenly she's pretty, and everyone wants her. And you can always cure any problems with miscommunication and a dude, and that's us.
Matt, if you don't host spaces or something, bro, or go live, like, you need to make content, bro. This is too good. Next question. Which team member would most likely be or accidentally publish a game before it's finished? Which team member?
Which team member? That would probably be Ophid. I think he would accidentally hit send. Because he's a very lovely Irish lad, and he would definitely be like, oh God, Jesus, did I just press the send button? Oh my God, I just launched it to 200,000 people. Oh dear, I think I'm gonna have a Guinness now.
And again, it's to go out today. Okay. Next question says, pitch warp chain like you're a medieval town crier. What is a crier? I don't know what that means.
Hear ye.
Yay!
The time of change is upon us. The time of bad games is over. It is time to be one with the Warp Nation. Bring out your dead games. That's how it goes.
He hit the Monty Python. Oh my God.
Full Monty.
This was a targeted question, bro. Loki, like, he knew that, like, whoever wrote this was like, yeah, they're gonna do a good job. They're gonna do a good job. 2 more for me, and then the next 5 Ramen's gonna take. If node operators could vote on your next game genre, what would probably win?
You know those coin push games where you just throw money in and then more money comes out? They would vote on those. If we had a game that was literally just throwing little coins in, and they'd do that. I think everyone votes on what they think would get them money. And that's good because hopefully it gets us money too.
Sexy dating sim, says Money Plane.
Somebody's lonely.
Well, we got
waifu sim.
Waifus.
Yeah, we do have waifus. Maybe there's going to be waifu dating.
Oh my god. That's the
Crocs and the Vapes got a chance.
All the content creators will flock to that. They'll be like, oh my god, should I go out with this guy or not? What do you think, chat?
You get one-shotted by an AI nose. That'd be hilarious. Be like, please validate me or I won't talk to you. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to say. You need to validate me. And it's going to get really angry with you.
Wait till it asks for wallet permissions.
What happens if your AI girlfriend ends up not wanting to give you your validation, Cat? And you're like, beg. That'd be hilarious. Beg
what if it wants your speed?
No, I'm mad at you. All right, last question for me, and then Ramen's got the next 5. Which team member has the most embarrassing gaming hot take?
Oh my God. The most embarrassing gaming hot take, that'd be David. I think he always has the most embarrassing gaming hot take. Because it's usually just like, well, I've launched 5 game studios on the stock market. Why wouldn't this work? And you can't really argue with that, can you? Because the guy founded King and he says things like, I'm going to buy another boat. My first boat got lonely. And then you're like, fair enough. And then you see the boat he buys, and it's literally like the boat from the Old Spice advert. And he's there, like, manly on the thing. He's like 50 and he looks like 30 because that's how Swedes age. Yeah, I call him Zaddy. His actual nickname is Zaddy because he's like that.
All right. Ramen, you got the next 5.
Hold on a minute. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, collect yourself together.
Great.
Pick up all your noodles.
This is great. Hold my eyes come back. Hold on, let me shake them up a little bit. All right. Complete this sentence. The weirdest part about running a decentralized publisher is ...
Is the fact that no one even knows you're doing it.
Damn. That's
wet
works in the background, government agent, never noticed, but you're helping push for it. Got you. Okay, I got you. All right. If you had to explain blockchain game publishing to your parents, how would you do it?
I would use dolls, and I would point to the dolls, and I would then have a little bag of money, and I would show them one of the dolls taking the bag of money and giving it to the other one, and then I would go to my 6-year-old daughter's like food set, and then I would like assemble bits of slices of cake, and I would try not to use the word bridge at all, because that would just confuse them.
Like, hold on, Matthew, are they robbing each other?
Yes, they are, mother. That is exactly what they do. This one robs that one, and then he pretends he didn't rob that one because actually these guys paid those guys to rob them. And then they spun up a bunch of different tokens, and they bundled them. And then all of the supply got sniped, mother. And then some guy with really big shoulders basically destroyed the entirety of World Liberty Finance. And he's been involved in every single meme.
Someone got sniped,
people
mother.
still blame the celebrities.
So we should enjoy the pizza and Paul out. I'm just like, no, I'm just like, all right, yo, that's great.
Definitely not, mother. Please don't invest in Hawkshaw.
All right. We got a few more here. Oh, this is going to be great. Which team member would survive the longest in a battle royale between all of your published games? Or soon to be?
That would probably be Mizzy because just the guy sounds like he would put you in a fucking like bridge somewhere. Like if you mess with him, you are sleeping with the fucking fishes, my friend. Like if he's in a battle royale with anyone, like he's like, yeah, on the day of my daughter's wedding, I'm like, bro, I thought you were 12. But yeah, that's what would happen. Mizzy would survive.
If I could share a quick story of Mizzy real quick. One time we were in a meeting and his wife was like opening like a bag of chips or whatever. And he was talking to us in the meeting and he like paused, like, do you mind? He just like stopped and said, do you mind? So that's my all-time favorite Mizzy moment of all time.
That's classic.
I like Mizzy when he talks because it sounds like he's always trying to fight, battling through talking through a pillow. Hey guys, this one I can wear Timberlands in New York. Yeah, man, dude, that thing is crazy. The thing, like, and the scene is crazy. Bro.
I love the Sylvester Stallone interpretation.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I was like, yo, who's winning? Is it the pillow? Is it like one of Tempur-Pedic? It's a little bit extra density. It's like absorbing. I don't know what's going to happen right now. You're testing out some new like soundproofing booth. Oh no, man, I'm just over here playing some games right now. I'm like, okay, fucking Shaquille O'Mizzy. Anyway. But what's the most ridiculous game pitch you've received from a developer?
Oh, I think the one that had 6% retention, day one, 6% day one retention. That was the most ridiculous one. Followed by the one that defied the laws of financial thermodynamics, that apparently had no way to spend money in the game. You got every resource you needed. It was actually 3 games that went into one, and they raised a fuck ton of money. And the games actually looked kind of nice, but there was literally no way for money to enter the ecosystem. So that one was a hard pass. But the 6% retention one was quite funny. I literally had to say to the guy, that's the worst numbers in retention I've seen in my entire career. And I've graded student project. So yeah, that was.
You mean D30, right?
And
D30, not D1. D30,
no,
right?
D1,
right?
D1, 6%. Yeah, no, I was like, yeah, when he said 6%, I was like, of what? It was like, it was pretty sad. That's the worst one. But yeah, there's been some fun ones when someone turns up and like, hey, do you know a guy who can build my entire game for $1,500? I'm like, brother, no. I know a guy who will claim he can do that and then take $1,500 off you, and there are thousands of them all in Web3, and they'll come straight into your DMs. But to make it, and no.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. This is a wild space that we're in, but we're gonna move it on. Lightning round, lightning question. Last one for the lightning round. Then we're gonna get into boss number 3. But this one should be a fun one. If Warp Chain had a mascot, what would it be, and what would be its special power? And don't you dare say a VC.
We do have a mascot. We do have a mascot, and we are not VC funded. We are self-funded, and our mascot is Nova, and her special power is if you don't validate her, she won't give you money.
Oh,
yo,
damn.
that mascot goes hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a pretty great special. Wait, what 1,500?
Read the chat. He said, yeah, that's me. I'll do that. Give me 1,500 ramen.
Oh, yeah.
And he's even going to let you keep your own code, I guess.
That blew my mind, by the way. Like,
not my GitHub repo, not my keys, not my whatever. Yeah.
Most of the studios, or I don't even call them studios, but with games in Web3 aren't even owners of their own code. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't want to travel down. That's like PTSD for me, honestly. When I found out, I'm like, yeah, we can't continue this project anymore. I was like, why? But why? You know, the little white monkey on the box is like, why? That was me. And they're like, yeah, we don't own our repo, and the developers extorting us, and yada yada yada. Anyway, Fiverr or whatever scam that was. But boss number 3. That's what we got coming up next. Let's see, PTSD. I need some therapy. Keep your GitHub repo.
All right, let's run it. Right? Okay, yeah, for sure. Thank you, Robin. Thank you. Great work, by the way. For those who don't know, this round is an alternate round, meaning I take a question and then Robin takes a question, and so on and so forth. This is your last chance, by the way, chat, to get to 20 votes to get that free Battlefield 6 pre-order. I'm going to be playing day one. I actually have a countdown on my phone. Let me check my countdown, actually. I think we're at 38 days until Battlefield 6, and I'm absolutely excited for that game. Let me double check here real quick. Yep, 38 days. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it says 38, and it says Battlefield 6. It's backwards, but trust me, I'm hyped. You should be too. Go and vote, guys. Go and vote. First question says, traditional game publishers like EA and Activision have massive resources and established relationships like we've talked about before. What makes you believe a decentralized node operator can compete with their market power and capital?
Because we used to work for EA, and we used to work for King, and we used to work for these, and we made them like billions. So, you know, we know all of those people. I got drunk with them like 2 weeks ago in Gamescom, and that's where you face tank meetings, and then you go to the Marriott, and then you get extremely drunk with a bunch of old men. It's you know, as miserable and as fun as it sounds at the same time. It's glorious. That's why we think we can compete, because we've been there, we've done that, we've actually made those things, and you know, we know how it all works.
Simple and straight to the point. Ramen, take the next question.
I got to pick up drinking. I'm missing opportunities here. All right, next question.
No, dead
Your
ass.
revenue per
Dead ass.
Yeah.
There's a lot of deals that you can get done with drinks and, you know, sometimes some marijuana too, whatever.
Yeah, I don't drink, so it's just like I'm missing out on opportunities here. All right, shout out drinking. Your revenue projections assume both successful game publishing and sustained WRP token value. How do you address the fact that most gaming tokens have failed to maintain long-term value regardless of underlying business success? I don't know if that's really true, but fair. Okay.
We don't take their gaming tokens. They can do what they like with them. So our token is not based on that. Our token is based on basically buying the revenue, like getting in the revenue and buying back our token with it. That's how it works. That's what we do. And their token can go fucking fly or hang as long as that game is making tons of money. We do not care. If they want to use their share to buy back their own token, that is up to them. So we avoid it deftly. We step away from the steaming pile of dog poo, and we don't engage with it. And we say that person should have bagged it, and they didn't. But yeah, we also help the games to structure their tokenomics and that for free without taking 5% of it. We don't use tokenomics experts that basically appeared in 2021 and then turned into AI experts and then disappeared in 23. We use people who've actually designed games economies, and we help them to get that done. Yeah, the games tokens don't really bear much like impact on the game. If the game is making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, theoretically their token should go up. We only care about the first part, the hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, and then yeah, what their tokens do is up to them.
Bro said Black Ops 7. He's pumping his bags, bro. Bro's pumping his bags.
No, he's anti Call of Duty. Remember, he broke up. He calls it the ex-girlfriend. So I don't believe that. But
still in the DMs.
But you know, I kind of think that one is more popular than the other. So I kind of understand why he would say that, and I kind of agree with him, even though I don't like Battlefield or Black Ops 7. So at least from what I've seen, it looks kind of
is real. They're like Fast and Furious. There's just no need for extending this series.
Right? Why is there a Fast 7 or 8 or 9? Like we got it.
Black Ops 7. Why is there Black Ops 7? We should stop at 2.
Well, I mean, just make it a Call of Duty. I don't know, Call of Duty Trump Warfare. I don't know. Make it more modern. I don't know. Like we don't want futuristic stuff, bro. We're good.
That's for those Halo losers. Anyway.
Exactly. Siege. Shout out Drinking says money played. Lol. Shout out Drinking. Money, you drinking right now? Is that why you said that? Open up a pint for your boy. All right, let's move on to the next question here. And it says the node sales structure resembles DeFi yield farming schemes that often collapse when new investor money stops flowing. What fundamentally prevents Warp from becoming another unsustainable token reward system?
Income, making money. That's what stops us. Making money from people spending money. That's what stops it. Like all of those other ones, did they make revenue? No, they did not. This is what we do. We're a business. We'll make money. And And, if we don't make money immediately, we have enough tokens based on our launch FTV to keep the nodes rewards positive for 3 years despite that. And we're pretty sure we're going to make a lot more money than that. So, yeah, we bring money in, and that allows us to grow the business, as opposed to we have money, we give it away for people to tell people how much money they're going to make if they invest in this, and then those people give money to other people to do the same, and then eventually you give out all of your money, and then you have to go to every single conference until finally Robbie Young hunts you down and hands you your notice, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was going to the other conference in Japan and I didn't catch it. It's Adventures of Bourget. I'm not going to be hunted down in a conference somewhere, so that's not going to happen.
I've been at a conference since they haven't come back to Austin. Well, you guys don't like the heat? Like, it's a great city. We have drinking, plenty of drinking, plenty of 420, plenty of bumping. If you want to do that too, I'm not a fan of that.
I guarantee you, if you have a crypto thing, you will get the guy from Sandbox there. Like, you literally have to say the word crypto in a room of more than 2 people and put a little chair on it and a microphone, and he just teleports. That's how you summon him.
I thought it was 3 times in the mirror.
Oh my god.
Beetlejuice. Oh, wait.
Oh my god.
Bourget.
We do have the poll live right now. This is the final poll. This is your final chance to maybe potentially win a Battlefield 6 pre-order. I don't know. Maybe you don't want it. I'll take it. If you guys don't want it, I'd take it. I mean, that saved me like $60. But anyways, poll's live. Go and vote. Let us know how our guests are doing here on the Final Boss. We also have a question here from Clouds, the CEO of Catalyst. When it comes to onboarding games, are you guys putting more focus into indie studios or AAA? What's the deciding factor for you guys to get behind a product as their publisher?
The deciding factor to get behind them is their goal achievable? Is their game good? If their game is good and their goal is achievable, we'll get behind them. When it comes to indies, it's easier to compute the sort of the top end, and it's easier to calculate the costs. So obviously, like, the more AAAs or AAs you have to spend more time, more money, and they have to have more runway. And we're confident in both because we've all been on those kind of projects as well. But generally, it's a lot easier to kind of calculate the risks, and there's less danger in an indie because you're not spending as much money to get the result as you would in a AAA. So you really have to be 100% locked in on the team, and preferably on the sort of the previous things that they've done, so that they can actually leverage that and the relationships they have with marketing and all the rest.
In my opinion, if you could find a Schedule 1 or like a repo or some type of like indie, like a smaller, like a Claire, I always mess up the name, Expedition 33 type game versus like trying to like buddy up to a AAA that has level executives to go through like fucking layer upon layer upon layer of corporate BS to get through. I think that's a win for the gaming industry because a lot of these AAA studios kind of don't really have like their passion behind their products anymore. It's just kind of like, hey, we got to fill a quota. And then it's like you're removing content from the game as like a pre-order bonus or some DLC. That's anti-consumer. And they've been doing that for years. And indie is like, take my art and my heart and run with it. Because this is what I created and I want the world to play it. And that's what I see from those types of games. So, just my 2 cents on like 100%. Indie versus AAA. What's up, 3Vaughn? I hope I said that right. It's either Evon or 3Vaughn TV. Good to see you in the chat. We're gonna move on to the next question. I think Ramen has that. Yeah, you got it, Ramen.
I got it. We're almost done. 3 more for the end of the third boss. But you are asking people to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for nodes based on projected returns from games that don't exist yet. How is this different from selling unfinished products to fund development? Man, these questions, people just trying to like cut.
I mean, it's not different from that. We just have done it before, and this is how you raise money in VC. You have a team, and this is how you say you have a team. You have a bunch of experience. You're doxed. You've done all of these things in the past. You point to your past successes, and you say, "Here's how we plan to do it," and we're very transparent about how it works. And our entire business is set up to be less risky than having one game, one chance, one shot on one chain. This is why we partnered with chains. Like, if they didn't think we were serious, they wouldn't partner with us. So that's what you do. We're asking people to invest in us, and there's always a risk in investing. And to say, this product and this rewards for validating are projected to be like this, and you just have to look at the team, look at what we can do, and then work out, do you believe us? And that's as simple as that. Like, we have a lot of games that exist. They're all real studios. They are not out yet, and that's what we do. We put the games out there. If we already were successful, we wouldn't need to do this, would we? We would already be successful. We would already be sitting on our island, and we would already be happy as Larry, and we would not be sharing any of the money with anyone. But because we want to do that, and because we're self-funded, and because we started and didn't take money from VCs, so we don't have funds of seller pressure, this is one of the ways to raise money. And that money that we raise now will go into the games to make sure that the games that we invest in become real faster than they would otherwise, and that they succeed much faster than they would otherwise. And that's why we're asking for that money, because we were putting it into those products to make sure that they get over the line faster, so that we can demonstrate everything we're saying. That's why we're doing it.
That's the most transparent answer I've ever received. He's like, well, no, it's not. And here it is. And you know what? I wish more people just do that instead of coat, so I think it's good that you're out there and telling the story of how Warp came about in your 1600 years of combined gaming experience, and how that actually affects this thing moving forward. Now, we do have a question from the crowd. I know we're going to finish the thing up. We've got Revon. He's like, have you thought of encouraging games to airdrop to node holders? He actually loves airdrops and giving money to farmers. That's his favorite thing, actually, so he'll probably speak on that.
Yeah, so we've definitely got plans for that. We have plans for everyone who comes to the platform will get a pass, and the node holders will get passes, which will get them into the alpha. And that's what your AI concierge will be for, to tell you which games are airdropping, to make sure that you're in those, and get you excited about all of those new and lucrative events coming up on the chain. And that's exactly why we have Nova, and she will tell you, please validate me so I can give you the airdrops.
And the airdrop's so Novalicious. All right, I'm passing it on to Hado.
Exactly.
All right, this is going to be the final question of today's show. Strap in, folks. Most successful game publishers focus on proven franchises and sequels because original IP is extremely risky. How do you justify asking node operators to financially back your unproven indie game bets?
How does he know that most game publishers focus on that? I'd argue they don't. Like, if you're talking about third-party publishers, Voodoo doesn't give a shit where the games come from. They give a shit if they make money. Like, we can do this because we can look at numbers and we can tell those numbers go up or go down. It's not like TA. It's actual, like, real numbers. It's not guessing. You don't draw a line on a Fibonacci chart and say that's where the players are going to go, because players don't just randomly appear and disappear. If the game's good, those players stick. That's how it works. So there are publishers. If you're calling something like Rockstar a publisher, it publishes its own game, one game, and it's done the same game for 20 years. Of course, they focus on it. We don't have any old games in Web3. We don't have many storied franchises in Web3. All we have is basically original IP, and Web2 IP basically looks at this space like you would look at Mezzy if he was coming up on you in the dark and you were a female jogger alone in a park at night. And you're looking over your shoulder and you just that's how they look at Web3. That's exactly the perception they have of us. So the IPs don't go to us, and they certainly don't go to Story Protocol, because no one knows who the fuck they are in Web2. So we have the choice of indie bets because they are outsized, right? If you want to get an IP, you already have to pay a ton of money to get that IP in your game. Put it this way, if you're working with something like Game of Thrones from Netflix, I mean, they did a pitch to us when I was at Rovio to make their sort of House of the Dragon and then like mobile version. And we would essentially be losing a percentage on top of the percentage that is already taken. So IPs are expensive. IPs take longer to do, and they are actually harder to secure. And the ones that are not expensive are usually ineffective. So you need to hit those top IPs. So it's actually a poor strategy to go for high quality IPs when you're starting a business. The best strategy is to take a small number of very informed bets where you can quickly prove them before the money runs out for the company. And you can quickly prove that that is a valid bet, and then you can scale it. And that's what we look for.
We do have a quick, and this is going to be the last question here from the audience. Are they going to be okay with and keep building despite less than 20% of node selling? I'm not sure what he's referring to.
So as far as the node sale goes, we're on a brand new platform, and that platform has had bugs, and we are going to be building our own platform as well to essentially shift the rest of the nodes, and you'll definitely see the rest of the demand. We also have a bunch of resellers who haven't actually been airdropped yet, so you'll see the number go up. But fair point, you don't expect these things to sell out if you're trying to do something brand new on a brand new platform that's just been built, and that's why we're taking steps to make sure that people don't have to go through those bugs and put this actual stuff on our platform. So that's coming soon. And there's an interim solution where we're using Helium to do that, Helium Deploy. So Helium Deploy will go live on our website, and you'll be able to pay with credit card through that, and you'll be able to actually get the rest of the nodes. Those nodes are not disappearing from the counter on the Ava Cloud setup. So fair play. It was a brand new thing. We used it, and we are now making sure that we act on it and we get more people able to buy nodes.
All right, Threevon, I hope that answered your question. We are done with all the questions. We're going to get into the results portion of this show. Now we're going to find out how our guests did today against all the bosses. We're going to start with the bad news first. On boss number 2, you guys scored an 80 out of 100. On boss number 3, you guys scored 100 out of 100. In chat, on boss number 1, they scored 100 out of 100, which means you won!
Wow! You beat all the bosses! Congratulations!
For all the math people out there, that puts them at a score of 93.333333. It goes on forever. Guys won. Congratulations. Ramen, tell them what they won today.
Well, folks, much like our really cool badge that we gave away for free 99 earlier, that was a Rev League. We're also going to be giving you guys a Founders Badge for anybody that beats all 3 bosses here on the show, and much, much, much like those really cool badges that the community has been collecting for that mystical word utility in the Catalyst ecosystem. There's also going to be some utility for all the founders that have beat the bosses here on Boss Battles, and we thank you so much for helping us close out episode 67. Yeah, I know you should have waited 2 more episodes, but we thank you anyway, my friends. I know, shucks, man, shucks. We're boomers. We missed all that. We're like, we should have tuned in to the cool hypey buzzword. We could have been episode 69. But don't worry, you can always come back for episode 420, folks. We'll see where Warp has gone through all those episodes.
That's a great call out. I didn't even think about the next big milestone, 420. You're so right. Also, like, obviously the 100th episode. Gotta do something for that. We're coming up on that pretty soon. But want to shout out everybody that was watching in the chat across all platforms on X, Twitch, YouTube. Thank you for supporting the show. Follow us if you're new. Follow everybody that's on the stage right now. The Shaolin is great to catch up with you, my brother. It's been a long time coming, and the world is coming full circle. We're growing all together. This is amazing. Shaolin, hope you have a great day, bro.
You too, man. It's a great catching it.
Grim, good to see you. Good to meet you. Hope you had a great time on the show as well.
Super fun. Loved every second.
Absolutely. And last but not least, Matt, thank you for all the great content you put out today. You were a legend on this show, I gotta say.
Thanks, man. It's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed chatting with everyone, and love the questions, man. Love the questions. It's always good to get real questions from real people that actually give a shit.
Absolutely, got to put you on the hot seat, guys. That's it for today's episode. We'll see you next time. Peace.